What's up, everybody? It is me. Let me get myself together because I always get excited when I'm listening to music, behind the scenes. It's me, your boy Rico No Suave. Oh, man, I am super happy to be back with each and every one of you guys. How you doing? Tell me how you're doing. Please just talk to the TV, or you can actually say if you're live with us on comments. Let me know how you're doing. But bienvenido a todos, mi gente. Your boy Rico No Suave here with the crew. Yes, with the crew. And hey, we're gonna have a good time today. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna be laughing. We're gonna have a great time. But we also have to pay tribute. We also have to pay respect because this past Monday was Veterans Day. Yes, happy Veteran Day to. Hey, we're gonna celebrate this for the whole week, and I'm so glad because it falls on our day. Yes, as well too. So. Happy Veterans Day to everyone that actually served. Much respect to all of the heroes and also to the fallen soldiers and also to the veterans that's no longer here with us, but also the ones that are here with us as well too. But the Rico No Suave show, we love you all. We thank you so much. And yes, when it comes to veterans, you guys should be treated with utmost respect. And we respect you here on the Rico No Suave show. So if you have a veteran or if you have someone that's in the service as well, we want to say salute to you and thank you so much. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Let's get it on. Ooh-wee. Hey, when we talk about comedy, there's a certain style that you have within comedy. And there's a certain attire that you have with comedy. And this gentleman that I'm going to introduce you to is all about wool socks. And when we talk about wool socks, there is a specification of wool socks that it could be homemade. It could just be bought out the store, but it also goes with orange juice. And we're going to talk about that because tuning in from Canada, let's go, Ontario, Canada, stand up. I got my man, Timmy Boyle, on the show. Let's go. Yeah. With the cool suit. Timmy.
I think he's actually, it's Rico No Suave. It's not Rico's. Oh, sorry. Hey, Rico, what's up? Sorry, just chatting with my buddy here. It is no Suave, right? It's no Suave.
No Suave.
Okay. All right.
Timmy Boyle, what's up, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. Cheers to my American friends down there.
Let's go. I'll let you take a sip. Go right ahead, sir. Hey, Timmy, man, I am super happy to have you here on the show, man. It's going to be awesome. I know this is going to go by fast because I'm here to give you your flowers, man. I'm here to give you your flowers, but I'm also here for the audience, my audience, your audience, to just have a great time understanding you. But before we have anything, that background is awesome. Can you just let them know what type of background you got?
This is my 80s corner. I believe the 1980s was the greatest gift ever given to our world, and so this is kind of my personal collection. Few of my highlighted piece. The 1989 Batman cowl. It's actually an exact replica of the one that Michael Keaton wore, who, by the way, is the only true Batman. I've got my Sam Malone jersey over there from Cheers.
Nice.
I have Alyssa Milano up there, my first teenage crush, who actually met. That's a whole other story we could get into. Okay. And then we've just got a mix mash of my Care Bear, my leg lamp. I don't know. Everything that I personally loved about the 80s is somehow represented here.
Hey, all I got to say is be careful about the leg because it's fragile.
Dude, I can appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course. Of course. That's one of my favorite parts, man. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie. Watch out for the leg.
I watch that every Christmas.
Yep.
It's that one. And my other Christmas routine every year is to sit down and watch with my daughter Die Hard, the best Christmas movie ever.
Wow. Yeah. You know what's
I know that
Go ahead.
We might have already lost viewers at that point. That's an intense argument.
Die Hard, man. Hey, you can't go wrong with Die Hard. Why not? Hey, but you know what? You know what I like that I love to watch also is Polar Express. That's a
I have
classic.
I've never seen it.
Man, you got to see it. With Tom
Don't
Hanks?
tell don't tell me what to do.
I won't. You Timmy Boyle. You the real Timmy Boyle. I'm not gonna. Hey, the fake Timmy Boyle, I could probably say that too, but the real one, I cannot. I cannot. Let's get it on. Let's go it on. Let's get it on,
Let's
Timmy.
do it.
All right. First question. You know, there's always people that influence people
Yeah.
in this world. You have two. You have the
Two main
comedian
ones.
Jack Benny and Bob Newhart. What was it about them that stood out to make you just say, "Oh my God, I got to get in this industry"?
I think the first thing I would ask you is, do you know them? Because they're an older generation comics, and are you familiar?
Bob Newhart only.
Okay. So when people ask me if which comedians I look up to and which comedians I watch, I don't watch a lot of stand-up comedy. In fact, all of my comedic influences, I'm a sitcom kid.
Yep.
I grew up in the prime of sitcoms during the 80s. And so even Bob Newhart, who I would hold up as my true comedic idol, I didn't know he even did stand-up until I was well into adulthood, and my dad introduced me to his album, The Button Down Mind. Prior to
Mm,
that, I had seen his show, Bob Newhart, and then Newhart in the 80s. And I was
yep.
just fascinated by the stammer that he had, the delivery, the timing, and that really captivated me. And I was already kind of sold on the way he presented himself comedically. Jack Benny is somebody who I saw watching old TV shows with my dad. He's back from I mean, 50s, maybe 40s. I don't know.
Oh wow.
But back in black and white. And what I always appreciate about Benny was he wasn't afraid of silence. And I think that's a big killer for a lot of comedians nowadays. They just can't stand silence. It freaks a lot of people out. And I used to watch this guy hit the stage dressed in a suit, which is why I wear a suit as well, dressed in a suit, come out on stage, and he would tell a story, and there'd be no laughter. And I was captivated by the fact that this man was so confident in where he was ultimately going with the story that the payoff was going to be worth the silence. And so he
Mm,
never rushed it. And Newhart was the same way, just, it's a slower pace. And I just was fascinated by the courage to stand up there and just be so confident that where you're taking people, it doesn't have to have a laugh per minute. And so that's why those two guys really stand out to me, because I like to consider myself as somebody who doesn't fear the silence. And I will sometimes drop a joke, and maybe some of the crowd doesn't get it, but the one person in the back that cracks up makes me go, that's awesome. That's gold.
yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. You know, when it comes down to when we talk about sitcoms, because that also brings up another, idea in my head when we're thinking about stand up versus sitcoms. Because most of the sitcoms are scripted, and I'm sure that of course stand up comedy is what I want to talk about, kind of scripted in your head, but then you can also freestyle if someone out of the blue of the audience just say something, and you comedians are so good with this to be able to freestyle and just catch it and freestyle off of what they said. But with
Right.
sitcoms, there is that time where there is a script, but there's something to be said. And then there's the reaction of whoever they're acting with. And then the audience is actually, even if it's a live or fake audience that's actually laughing. I kind of feel that those are similar in some cases when it comes to sitcoms. But what do you think about the comparison between the two?
Well, I think the live shows are probably the most similar. So like a lot of the shows were live back in the
Yeah.
older shows. So if I think about there's five comedic people who have really influenced me. And if I think back to them, like, so Benny was live on stage. They did their shows in front of live audiences, which
Mm,
although it's scripted, you're getting that immediate feedback. Newhart was very scripted. That was probably the one that that was a straight script. But there was obviously timing. Like there's certain sitcoms that you watch where you're like, there are people in that back room that aren't TV writers. They're comedians, and you can tell
Yeah.
sometimes because of the pacing and the way that jokes are written.
Mm.
John Cleese from Monty Python.
Oh,
I mean
wow.
that was some scripted stuff, but John. So Benny brings in my love for silence.
Uh-huh.
Newhart brings in my the timing aspect and the slowing down, more storytelling. John Cleese from Monty Python, his show Faulty Towers was brilliant, although short lived. But Monty Python
Yeah.
bringing kind of my love of the quirky.
Yes.
Tim Conway on the Carol Burnett show, another name that maybe a
Mm.
lot of the viewers don't know. Great physicality. Long before like Chevy Chase started on Saturday Night Live, Tim Conway was falling downstairs in slow motion. And again, that was in front of a live audience, getting real live feedback. David Letterman, which is where I get my sarcastic side, or at least he was one that I connected with because of the sarcasm.
Hmm.
Again, I saw him not as a comedian, but as I saw him as a late night show host in front of a live audience. So I think when you're watching a lot of these shows, the live shows you can really see where the scripted and the banter comes into play and being affected by that live audience, which is very close to stand-up comedy.
Hmm.
But a good sitcom that is written with the same sort of pacing and stuff. I'm almost finished binge watching. I just finished binge watching Cheers, which I think is the best sitcom of all time.
Norm.
So
Yeah.
so many reasons why it's the best sitcom of all time, and I'm not going to get into it here,
Yeah.
but you can tell that that show was written by comedians. Like
Yeah.
it was so good. There was callbacks and just the delivery and the thing. So I I think as much as I want to do TV. I think that I went to school for film and television. As much as I love being in front of a live audience and getting that and playing with an audience, there's something about, the acting realm and being able to just play in this environment, and just, I don't know, maybe not have the ability to wing. I think there's something in there that's kind of special as well. So they're different worlds, but clearly I'm a stand-up comic of 15 years professional now who still to this day doesn't watch a lot of stand-up comedy. I would much rather watch a good sitcom, and
Yeah.
from there I appreciate the comedic pacing and stuff and timing that and writing that comes from that medium.
I like that. I like that. Hey, when it comes down now, there's a lot of things that as a comedian, but also from me listening to the different, I call them artists, right? Different comedians, different actors that you were actually talking about. There were so many different pinpoints of characteristics that you actually learned from. How long did it take for you to basically adjust your way or basically learn from the masters in order for you to be able to put that all together and be like, okay, now I think that I'm here to, and I've been developed to be able to now start hitting the stage and being able to use those characteristics like the Dave Letterman and also from, Monty Python and those. How were you able to transition as far as all of those and use that for comedy for yourself?
It's still a process. I think it was probably only about 5 or 6 years ago that I really kind of um, have really come into my own on stage in terms of I do a lot more crowd work than I ever used to do. In fact, I would almost say that that's where my strength now lies, almost in crowd work more than it does in the writing of comedy. But I've become very comfortable in my own skin in regards to doing comedy. But when I stepped into comedy as a profession, it was dropped in my lap. Like it was something that I didn't expect. I was on a different path. I was a tour manager, so it's not like this was a path that I was pursuing. It was a path that I wanted to ever since I was a kid. I wanted to go into entertainment. I thought that giving the gift of laughter was one of the most amazing gifts anybody could give, and I thought I had the initial tools to do that. but I just didn't know where the entrance would be. And that door kind of opened in a weird, wonderful way.
Yeah.
And within a couple years, I had gone full time after that. And a lot of people were surprised by that. They're like, how did you adapt so quickly? Because I was already in my mid 30s. I already had a young family when I started stand-up comedy. You know, usually it's a early 20s kind of game. It's a young guy's game. Get in there, work the clubs night after night.
Yeah.
And when I jumped in, people were like, "Wow, how did you do it so quickly?" And I think it was just I had already done the studying. I had studied the Lettermans and the Conways and the Cleeses and Newhart and Benny, and I had been watching them and studying without even knowing it, and also spending time as a public communicator. I grew up in a church. I was on my way to becoming a pastor before I went into comedy.
Oh,
I had
wow.
taught children, I had taught seniors, I had taught men's groups and women's groups. So by the time I hit the stage as a comic, my comedic voice had already developed as well as the public communication skills,
Yeah.
which is where I think a lot of good comics, why it takes 10 years and they start in their 20s and it takes them to their 30s to really develop it. It's not that they don't know how to write jokes and aren't funny, but you need a lot of time to learn how to be on stage. And I already had that, although it was in a different realm. So I
Right.
was taking skill sets by being a pastor and a teacher that I didn't that ultimately was training me to be on a stage as a communicator, as a comedian. And I was just watching TV because it was what I loved to do. And meanwhile, the whole time I'm like studying to be a comic.
That's hey, oh, when you talked about the church piece, there's a lot of things that people come up with when it comes to church, and things that they actually do. And, you know, it's there are church jokes that's out there and it makes people laugh a lot. And knowing that you were becoming a pastor and then, that was your realm and then you turned to be a comedian, you know, what was your mind like where you wanted to transition from that pastor and just say, "Hey, I want to be a comedian"? Because there's of course there's religious comedians, that keeps it
Yep.
clean, but also focus more on the church piece. But then there's the
Yep.
real world comedians, and that talks about the real world stuff. The reason why I'm
Yeah.
laughing at that because I'm trying to figure out what Timmy Boyle mind is at from being in church versus to going to the real world. How was that transition?
I can tell you that one of my biggest frustrations growing up in the church and being a pastor, and I do believe I have a skill set
Yeah.
of being a teacher and a communicator, and a caring heart, all those things that they said. But I was always very frustrated because I would use humor in everything, even if I was talking about
Right.
something seriously. But the church never embraced the gifting of making people laugh. I thought that was my best gift. But
Yeah.
it was always like, oh, but these are your main gifts. And yeah, you can bring in some humor. And so the transition really came down to uh, can I make a living doing this?
Right.
Quite frankly, the money's probably pretty similar between being a pastor and a comedian. I mean, it's not
Oh
like I
wow.
changed jobs for the money.
Right. Right.
Although,
Right.
I've been able to pay my bills, but there's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of money in either of them unless you hit like mega church or Jerry Seinfeld status, right? I mean,
Right.
most of us are just trying to be working pastors or working comedians. So I think the biggest transition came in regards to my family because when my wife at the time, when we got married, she was marrying into a potential being a pastor's wife. We plant ourselves somewhere, plant the church, blah, blah, blah. When I stepped into comedy and all of a sudden now I'm on the road standing there making people laugh, um, that was probably the hardest part of the transition was how that affected my family, especially my relationship with my wife at the time, because
Sure.
like she's like, "Whoa, this is very dynamic." For me, it felt like I was stepping from doing something that I enjoyed to doing something that I thought I was made for, and that was a
Mm,
huge jump forward.
mm.
There is the most real I think I ever am is on stage. When the lights go on and I walk out on stage, although we use a lot of embellishments to hype up our stories, it's probably the place where I feel the most alive. And that unfortunately wasn't really what I was experiencing. So with that background, some people think, oh, well, he's a Christian comic and he does, and although I do a lot of church shows because I am a clean comic,
Yeah.
I create a show that talks about real life issues, but I provide it in such a way that whether I'm in a club or a church or a school or a corporation, whatever it may be, I want people, regardless of age, race, gender, or even religious belief, to come into one room and laugh together. And a grandmother sitting with her granddaughter laughing at my jokes means the world to me. So some
Yeah.
people say they see that I work in a lot of churches and they're like, oh, well, he's telling religious jokes. And it's like, no, no. They're just invested in providing clean entertainment. And my goal is to provide an entertainment style that can be embraced by as many people as possible.
Come on, man. Come on, Timmy Boyle. Hey, this is not the fake Timmy Boyle, everybody. This is the real Timmy Boyle that's talking to me right now. This is real deal. The comedian Timmy Boyle, man. Oh man,
And
there's so
just so you know,
uh-huh.
I'm actually in bed right now. This is an AI version of me.
That's AI. Well, I'm so glad, man, because you talk a lot in bed. So that's that's a good thing. Oh man, I don't know where I'm going with that. Okay, so when it comes down to you communicating, and this is me giving your flowers, right? This is a great connection that you have with people, with humans, right? And with people from younger age to older age, right? To the people we respect. And I think because that makes your passion even more, and I'm not trying to get religious in regards to this piece, because there are certain religions that are really more strict versus others, right? So when
Mhm.
it comes to being that pastor or being where they don't perceive it as a funny joke, I think it's more of the culture that's built within that religion that they might not think that that's really funny, right? And I think
Mhm.
for in your case, because you're that, let's go, happy go lucky, but let's talk about it cleanly, but it's really funny, but you don't want to laugh. It's kind of that, no disrespect to that religion, but I think it's just the way that the culture is. What do you think?
I think comedy is super subjective across the board. I do see that. I definitely know that if I perform in certain denominational churches, some people will come up to me and not assume, this is clean or this is clean. It's funny because a clean comedian even has rankings. But I
Mm,
think comedy in general is so subjective that even if you pull out the religious aspect of it, every room that I step in front of is going to have some people in there that may not agree with something that I say.
yeah.
And it's mainly because comedy always has a target. And as long as I keep it clean, what I tell people is this: you may not enjoy my brand of comedy or my style of comedy, but what I will tell you is that you don't have to ever be nervous that I'm going to say something that is going to make you like run your child out the back door or run your mother out the
Right.
back door and go, I can't believe they just heard that.
Right.
So
Right.
I think that's one of the things that jacks me up as a comedian still to this day is the reality that I can take the same material night
Uh-huh.
after night into room after room. And this is probably hyperbole. I think that's the right word. But I can go from one night standing ovation to the next night crickets with the same material because and that's kind of the extreme view, and that really gets me excited. I love the fact that I can walk out on stage and this might be the night that something's going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah. But that's why it's comedy, right? Because you can walk off the stage, if it's crickets, you can still laugh. This is what you should
I
do. Hey, you know what? Here's the thing, and maybe you already did this already. What you need to do is you need to go to one of those stores and get a bag of crickets or a lot of crickets, right? And what you should do is when you know that there's people that's not going to laugh, you need to have a bottle or a can of those crickets, right? And you should, I don't know if you're good with sound effects, but you should make that sound and then walk off the
well,
stage.
here's what I was I got two things to say to that. Number one, I don't ever walk on. I got way too much ego to ever walk on the stage assuming there's going to be a place where no one's going to laugh. That
Right. Right.
And number two, somebody's phone went off. This is a true story, no
Okay.
exaggeration. Somebody's phone went off in a crowd, and it was a cricket noise. And it was literally the first time that I had ever heard crickets in the audience. And I pointed it out. It was a great moment.
Let's go. Let's go. Hey, that's the best ever. How did you respond to it? What did you do?
I don't remember fully, but I know that there was probably that awkward silence that I thoroughly enjoy, where in that silence of going, am I hearing what everybody else is hearing? And in that, this is where comedy gets to its best. When you get to a
Yes.
place where something like that happens, and I don't have, like, people are like, what's your quick comeback? Sometimes, and this is what made Jack Benny so special to me,
Hmm.
is sometimes all you got to do is look out into the crowd and make that right face or facial expression, and you could milk a laugh for way longer than you could with any quick comeback. And I think
Yeah.
sometimes just letting the moment and embracing that moment with a good look or two,
Yep.
that to me, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened that night. And then the punchline, a minute later of silence and laughter was, that was crickets, right? And then it goes off to another level. That's all. It's not even
Yeah.
that hard,
Yeah,
but
I
that was
like
great.
that, man. I like that. Hey, the real Timmy Boyle, everybody. We keeping it real with crickets, and we keeping it real with laughter, baby. That's what we do. Let's go. He's in an AI bed right now, everybody. So just in case you guys
That's
don't
right.
know, in the '80s, in the background, just brings me back to happiness. Hey, before we take a break, man, Timmy.
Yeah.
I'm having such a great time, man. It's already almost our first break, but you are the real deal, man. And I love your passion. I love your passion in regards to what you love to do as a comedian, but also,
Thank
of
you.
course, I didn't notice, but the way that you said that money that you actually make is also compared to pastors. And that's really interesting because I didn't think that pastors get paid that much. In regards to every living based off of what they get from the church, I guess. So,
Well,
yeah,
it's a different set. I mean, in America, you have a lot more like mega church worlds and those type of things. We're
sure,
talking
sure,
bigger bucks, but I mean, we had a lot of small time community up here, and I grew up in a small church. So when I said that, I mean, it's much like, you know, I mean, pastors might even be better off than me because they get like a housing allowance as well, and
mm,
they
yeah,
also know that they're going to get a regular paycheck. So I think saying what I said like that really was about the fact that it's not like I left, I didn't leave being a pastor, and I wasn't even getting paid really as a pastor. I was on my way to becoming a pastor. So,
oh, I see.
but
Okay,
the joke about moving, I never officially took that role as a career. That was where I was headed.
sure,
But the reality is that I'm not doing this. I want to pay my bills, and I certainly want to be able to in about 3-4 years time, spend most of my time in Bali and not see any snow again. But I'm not in this for the money, and most artists would say that too. But I am very proud of the fact that I have been able to make a living doing this for 15 years. I know that in itself
yeah,
is something that I should not take for granted, because there is a lot of working comics out there that are
yeah,
using it as a side gig, and I have been very, very um, um, fortunate to be able to do this for 15 years. A little COVID asterisk there, where I
yeah.
had to polish a few boats and wrecked my smooth, clean comedian hands that had never done work, like real work in a day ever. But
Nice,
anyways, that's a side
nice.
story. But so I feel very
Yeah,
fortunate, and really it's just about the fact that, yeah, am I making a living doing what I'm doing? Yeah. Do I see there are many more opportunities out there? Do I want to be able to, like, have a car that actually functions and is reliable? Yeah.
yeah.
But that being said, I have a great home. I have, I'm enjoying my life, and I'm doing what I love. So I can't complain.
Shoot, that's the best way to go. Hey, and when I come to see you in Canada, hey, I'm gonna actually give you gas money because I already know what's going on, man. Hey, we need to go somewhere. I already got you. I got you, man. Hey, I got you all
That's
day.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, you can come. You can come stay here in my guest room and be able to look at all. I'll walk you through the '80s stuff.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Everybody, we got to take a quick break, but you already know we got my man, the real Timmy Boyle, the comedian, here on the Rico No Suave show. Sit back. We got 30 seconds. We'll be right back. And welcome back. You
No, it's better than I
already
thought it was going
know
to be.
the
Actually,
real
it was
Timmy boy.
better.
Hey, Timmy, are you sleeping
Oh,
over
great.
there or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. No. I said like I don't care. I don't care what he says. I actually like you. So
Hey, tell him I like him too. You know, I love Care Bears. You know
gotcha.
what I mean? I
It's a
love
Care
him
Bear
too.
stare, man. Fire it
That's
out. Fire all
right.
that love to you.
That's right. Hey, we got to say hello to a couple people that's actually just tuning in. We don't want to take it too far away, but we have none other than John T for Free is checking in. He said, "What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?" He also had a great comment that he did say, and it was what was it, John T? He said, I've known some great pastors who did embrace comedy, and it always seems a much more loving church." Good point. Very good point.
Hmm.
Yeah, very good point.
Well, I
And
can tell you,
also, oh, go ahead.
most almost all the pastors that I ever knew growing up, they're all wannabe comics.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
just, and unfortunately, most of them are not funny.
I'm sorry. God bless them anyways, right? God bless them anyway. So I mean, it's okay. It's not meant for everyone. But
No, man,
so
it's
we do have something special as well too. And this is Beatrice Davis. Beatrice Davis is actually tuning in. She says, "Hello, everyone. Hello, thank you so much for tuning in, Beatrice. We appreciate you. And also, between me and you, Timmy, it's
Mhm.
Beatrice's birthday. Who would ever
Nice.
think? It's Beatrice's birthday. What do you have to say about
Wow.
that?
I say happy birthday to Beatrice all the way. I speak on behalf of the entire Canadian nation.
Let's go.
Happy birthday, a whole
Thank you.
nation. And me and my Care Bear friend here, we send the Care Bear stare of love and power all your way.
Yes.
May you go out into this year and experience all the joy and happiness and
Let's
laughter.
go. Canada showing love. The Rico No Suave show is showing love. Happy birthday, Beatrice. Happy birthday. Yeah. That is awesome. That is so awesome. And also there is Patty Escobar tuning in. Hello, Patty Escobar. She said there's a saying that baseball pitchers, hold on, that actually went out. Baseball pitchers is the loneliest profession, but really it's probably being a comedian. Wow. Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
well, look, for I can't speak for all of them, but I can tell you that I personally don't like people, so I don't find it very lonely at all. I go up on stage, I do what I do, and then I can't wait to get back to my little village here of 1,000 people where everything shuts down at 5 at night, and I can walk out in the street and see nobody. So I embrace the loneliness of it.
All I can say is good night, everybody.
I
Oh
look, I like
man.
you. I like you. You're one of the people that I like.
Thank you. I like you too, man. I like you
Yeah,
too.
thank you.
I sometimes, humans act like aliens sometimes, and I feel like I'm an alien sometimes. So sometimes they don't like me. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm so happy I like you and you like me, brother. And that's,
There are a lot of there are a
put me on
lot
that
of
list for
people
1001.
there are a lot of people out there that are very irritating, very, very frustrating to work with. But I need those people to stay around because
Yes.
they're actually what feed my career. Like
Oh,
that, those are the people I talk about. So keep being around me. I don't want to hang out at Thanksgiving dinner with you, but please come near me so I can gather the information and then go away.
right. Bring the crickets. Bring the
Right.
crickets. Bring the crickets. All right, man, we got to keep going, man, before this whole thing turns to Animal Planet. So 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 one of the things is that we talk about. So we kind of got to one of the questions I already had when we talked about if someone doesn't understand a joke and you say a joke and they don't laugh and it took it the wrong way. We already know
Yeah, yeah,
crickets, right? We got that out the way. Let's talk about kind of that traveling piece because you
yeah,
in Canada and also you have performed internationally, right?
yeah.
What are some of the like memorable moments that you've actually had in out of the country where you've been? Pick one or pick two. Let me know.
Well, there's a couple that stand out. Number one, I think I love touring across my own nation. As much as I love the international stuff, the reality is that Canada is so diverse that going from province to province is like jumping country to country in some ways.
Yeah.
And multiple times a year, I've been able to jump coast to coast and just being able to, like, because the same material, and it goes back to that subjectivity, the same material that I would say in the east coast of Canada, where it's a very laid back, chill vibe, and then you take that into Toronto and Ontario, where everything's kind of congested, and everybody's like always so angry and frustrated. And then you go to the prairies, and it's kind of like farmland and a different vibe. And then you got you know the kind of chill skater vibe out in the West Coast. And so I enjoy crossing across and taking the same humor into different environments. And that would be true
Yeah.
about crossing internationally because
Yeah.
American humor and Canadian humor are very different.
Yeah.
Canadians we were very inspired by the British humor, which is where Monty Python
Yeah.
was a huge thing. Even Benny Hill. I don't even remember old Benny Hill. There's a lot of the British Office. Even before the Americans got a hold of it, like Britain really inspired, and so Canadians were inspired by almost like this very dry wit, and that's very different than a lot of the American sensibilities. And so I find that one of the best things about traveling both nationally and internationally is just the joy of watching how my humor translates. So it's one. So when you're a comic who just works in their own little like their circle bubble where their city where they are, and that's not a knock. That's just the reality of some people's lives. Um, Although you get different audiences, you don't get a chance to see the different community vibes, and that to
Yeah.
me, I think, has been a real privilege to be able to experience that. The other thing though that has been probably my one of my biggest highlights was I actually have a video online on at timmyboyle.ca where I did a show. It was two countries, two shows, one night, and I did a show down in the States, performed it, literally got off the stage. They had a car waiting for me, drove across the border into St. Catharines in Ontario, ran in there, had enough time to put on my suit, jumped on the stage, and performed in Canada. And so that
Wow.
was one of my greatest highlights. It's on there. It's an 11-minute bit. It was basically it was two countries, two countries, two shows, one night. So being able to do a show in US and in Canada in one night is
Let's
something I will
go.
never forget. And then finally, I had a wonderful opportunity to go down to Pasadena, California, and perform in the legendary Ice House. And I remember looking up at the wall of that building and seeing all these comedic legends, and knowing, I'm not down there, doing a comedic special. I'm not taping anything. I'm not down there in front of, agents or anything. It was just for me to take the stage there. It was as a part of a clean comedy challenge. It was just amazing to be in that place, to say that I performed down in the Ice House where so many comedic legends have performed down in Pasadena. So
Yeah.
it's just cool. It's just cool going to different places and watching how humor unfolds in different environments.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. For you to be able to say, can you be in two places at one time almost feels like going from one place to another because a car was ready for you. It's almost like your soul went into the car before you got there. And then all of a sudden you got in there with your soul and got across to go to that other stage and you were on point with it. You're the real Timmy Boyle. There's no fake anything about you, my man. That's for
I
real.
love I love the travel. I love the new people and the new experiences, and I love the dynamic of Canadian versus Americans because you may not know it. I don't think Canadians really understand it, but we have different comedic sensibilities, even though we're so closely tied in
Yep.
entertainment.
Uh-huh.
Our comedic sensibilities are very different, and so I enjoy taking my comedic sense. And I think most Americans would be shocked at how many comedic forces are actually rooted up here and have made US their home for years. And there'd be so many down there that a lot of Americans wouldn't even know are actually from us.
Okay. Hey, you know, is there, and you being a comedian, I don't know, man. I guess when I comedians don't always want to feel like I want to laugh. So don't take it personal because I know you probably
Yeah,
don't, but I feel like I want to laugh every time, I have something else to say because when
yeah.
it's time for you to get on stage, have you
Yeah.
ever had someone in the audience that did not speak English that had to translate in order for them to be able to tell your joke?
Um, no, but I've definitely been on stage and talked to people at the end of the night where I kind of went, "Oh, like, were you able to understand anything that I said?" Um, but here's the thing though. Some of them legitimately from other countries or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I did a show once. I got hired to do a show and I wondered if they had even like looked at my bio or videos. It was the entire room was it was all from the Caribbean and
Okay.
it was a crazy vibe. It was awesome. I loved the show.
Uh-huh.
But it was a very unique environment. But I've been in crowds where it's like you wonder like did that crowd particularly pick it up just on dialect or whatever. But then I've been in crowds with fully English people who I don't think could understand English very well. So who knows at that point?
Right.
Like I think really it doesn't. I think really what's fascinating about good comedy, and it's
Uh-huh.
why I think my stuff goes well with even like 8, 9, 10 year olds that are in crowds. I tell people they may not understand the jokes. It's not about being able to understand, but if a good comedian is working a room,
Yep.
even if you're not picking up all the subtleties, a
Mhm.
good comedian will provide an environment where everybody just starts laughing because they're enjoying themselves. And that's ultimately, I think, the goal is like, look, you may not understand every joke I tell, but what I want everyone to walk away from when they leave the room is that I really enjoyed my time there. And that's where people who maybe aren't going to pick up the jokes due to English language barriers or being too young, but they can still, when laughter is going and positivity is flowing,
Yes.
I think everybody, and that's where it goes back to, regardless of age, race, gender, religious belief, people can come into one room and just experience that. They'll feel it. It's tangible.
Well, all I gotta say is you're awesome. You're
Well,
awesome, bro.
I
You're
appreciate
awesome.
that.
You're awesome. You're awesome. And because we got to take another break, and time is sometimes not on our side. Timmy Boyle, is that no matter what people that speak English and they don't understand English, that's their fault. You know what I mean? That's their fault. And I understand. It's the way life is. It's just the way life is. And then the people that had a great vibe in the room, It's the bomb. But hold that thought, man, because we'll
Okay.
talk forever. But hold that thought, everybody. It's my man Timmy Boyle here with the orange juice. We're gonna talk about that orange juice when we come back. But right now, it's time for our NASCAR moments, everybody. Yes, NASCAR moments. Ooh wee, guys! If you love race cars like I do, man, if you didn't see it, it was crazy. This moment is about the playoffs. Ooh wee. I have to say the playoffs was insane. So I talked about, the different people that actually, I'm sorry, the different drivers that actually won the different races, but this was down to the finals. And guess who won? Joey Logano. Credit to my man Mark Rabilas. Great job in regards to this photo. Got to give him his credit from Imagine Images. Very great shot there. Congratulations to Joey Logano. I know, Joey, there's a lot of people that, that is against you in regards to certain things. And I know there was certain things you were actually, fined for. But, hey, you still stuck it out and you actually won the championship of this year, 2024. Great job to your team as well, too. A Pennzoil, man, this is another great moment of NASCAR moments, everybody. Congratulations. Yes, congratulations to you. And also, I have to say before we take that off is the other four, of course, coming up. And, of course, I'm a Kyle Larson fan. He actually came in at number 4. William Byron came in 3. Ryan Blaney came at number 2. And, of course, Joey Logano. Great job to each one of you guys. Let's get back to the real Timmy Boyle. Let's go.
Yeah, I actually don't know what NASCAR is either. It must be an American thing. I don't know. All right. Hey.
Well, NASCAR is big here. It's all about race cars, and whoever comes in first wins.
It looks like it. I mean, at least in that picture, it's like I've seen cars parked before, so I guess that's exciting.
That is exciting. With paint on it. With
Yeah,
painted
right.
designs, yes.
I was like, he just showed me a picture of a bunch of parked cars. Like, that's not exciting, but I guess that guy won for parking the longest.
Yeah, yeah, for parking the longest with no meter. Make sure there's no meter there.
That's right.
Man, Timmy, man, I'm having a blast with you, man. Everybody's having a great time. And
Awesome.
in the chat, they're actually saying, oh my God, I can't stop laughing. They really loved it. Beatrice really loved it at, the way that you said happy
Cheers.
birthday to us. She really appreciates that. And she says has an incredible talent in how he displays his humor. Yes. She said if she comes to Toronto to visit her girlfriend, I want to be able to see a show. He is rocking comedy. Well, we're definitely going to make sure that we have that. John Cheaper Free says LMAO park cars. Oh man, before we got a few more minutes, and I have to
Mhm.
say, I got to give you some congratulations because there's some things that you actually had some big milestones that you've actually
Yeah,
hit.
it's a
So
big year. Yeah.
everyone, just so you guys know, Timmy Boyle is actually celebrating 15 years of professional comedy. Let's go! Congratulations,
Thank you.
sir. Congratulations to you. This is awesome. And also, you have The Circuit. It's a comedy tour returning
Mhm.
for season X after a 4-year
Yes.
pandemic-induced hiatus. Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that real quick, about The Circuit.
Yeah. I mean, very quickly, the circuit I started it back in 2011, and it was designed because clean comedy is so hard to find, at least on a regular basis. And so shows would come and communities would be like, well, when are you coming back? And the answer was always, we don't know. And so I wanted to create a series of comedy hubs that we would travel to on a regular basis. That's why it's called the circuit. I had actually worked with a comedian in Canada here, Leland Clausen, back then on kind of how do we kind of attack this need in the community world. So the circuit is basically every 2 months we travel Ontario, going into the same cities. So basically, if you miss a clean comedy show, another clean comedy show will be there like clockwork. We were the largest clean comedy circuit that nobody had ever heard about because I'm not a very good marketer, but We ended
Yeah.
up doing season 9. In over season 9, we had done 44 tours in Ontario, over 260 shows in 14
Wow.
cities, 27 different headliners, professional headliners from all around North America came up on the tour. And the shows are not, we're not filling theaters and auditoriums, but we had almost 300 people, season pass holders, so people who bought 5 shows for the following year without even knowing who the headline acts were. That's how
That's
much the
awesome.
brand was being trusted and how much I was being trusted. And so we basically created a family. And so COVID shut us down right as we were entering into season 10, which
Hmm.
was going to be a big milestone year for us. And we were finally getting momentum. We had got that season pass holder base going. We had started to see our attendance grow in these markets. We had expanded from 7 cities to 14. And then COVID stripped it all away. And it got really dark. This is for another show completely about how I handled COVID. But I didn't know if I'd ever get a chance to come back and do professional comedy, let alone put the circuit back on the road. But despite strong business advice, as an artist and as a comic who just loves to make people laugh, I started the circuit back up in September. We brought it back down to our 7 core cities. We honored all of our season pass holders from 4 years ago. We honored tickets that were sold for the May show back in 2020. We just opened up and we embraced and said we know it wasn't our fault, but I really see our tour as a family, and so we invited those people back. We right now have close to 300 season pass holders across the board. The circuit is back on. We just had Christian McCartney up. We got to Chris Wineland coming up, and we are planning 5 more shows this season to celebrate season 10 with 5 more headliners to come up. And it's just a way to celebrate clean comedy on a regular basis here in Ontario. That was the short
Nice.
way to tell you the
Let's go.
story.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh man. Hey, Timmy, you look proud and you look like they worked you a lot because you did well, right? Because it looks like your passion for people just by them buying it and didn't even know who the headline was is magic. That means that
Yeah.
whatever you're actually doing or whoever's looking over your shoulder, you have people that's ready to be able to book as far as on this tour. But this right here, this circuit, number 10, this is a very great milestone for you, sir. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about what we've built.
Yeah,
I don't like to produce. There's a lot of risk involved in it. I really
sure.
just want to perform after all these years, but
Yeah.
this thing became my baby, and so I'll continue to put it out there. And I'm not even the headliner on these tours. I have no problem sharing the stage with great headliners. I just want to provide good comedic moments. So it's a way for something for me to do in my home base here in Ontario, and then get on the road throughout the rest of the time of the year.
Well, whenever season 11 comes out, you know, you can always, think about Rico No Suave as being, to introduce, to
All
introduce you.
right.
I'm always there, the whole crew. Everybody's there. And I
All
even
right.
bring orange juice. I'll bring orange juice to make sure that
Cheers,
happens.
my cheers, my friend.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Last but not least, sir, we got to give you your flowers. Timmy's book, Inside Timmy's Mind, celebrates a 10-year anniversary. There it is. Yeah, you could bring that closer. Let's bring that closer so they can actually see. There it is. Woo-wee. Let's go.
That is
Let's go.
me.
That's that 80s look, too. That's an 80s look.
This is this was a project. I want people to be encouraged by it. This was a project
Sure.
that wasn't meant to be a book. I was challenging myself to write something creatively new every day, Monday to Friday for 20 weeks. I want to do 100 days of these things. And it was written as a blog. Nobody was really reading the blog, but it was really a challenge just for me. And then one day I got a message from a publisher in Australia
Hmm.
who had been seeing my work and sent me a message saying, I just want you to know somebody is watching what you're doing. And she invited me down to, from seeing some of my writing, she invited me down to a writers conference to teach a workshop on humor and writing and to perform. And then she sat me down in the hallway that day and said, I want to publish your first book at least and see if we can't get others done. And so this book is a collection of writings that were just written because me as a creative force just wanted to do something and nobody was reading the blog. And so many people can get discouraged by stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you don't need everybody to like you. I don't need everybody to like me as a comic.
Correct.
You don't need everybody to like you as a TV show host.
Yep.
All you need is the right people, and all it took was one person who saw it, who was like, in the publishing industry and saying, let's publish it. And so this book is a real encouragement to me. It's been around 10 years, does so well at shows and stuff. It's like a bathroom reader. It should be in everybody's bathroom basket at the very least. But it's
Nice.
an example of
Sorry.
so put it down in yours as well. But I mean, the reality is, and you can buy it online through my website, and I'll even autograph it and stuff because there's a spot on there where you can say. But it's really an example to me and a reminder that even if you think nobody is watching you, even if your follower count or your like count or whatever seems small, realize that all it's going to take is the right person to come across you, and great things can happen from that. And regardless of that, it was a great creative experience. But I'm very proud of it, and it's celebrating 10 years this year. And I'm just thrilled that I have something like this, and I plan on writing the second one at some point.
Timmy, we're gonna be good friends forever, man. I just have to say, congratulations on your book, number one, right? When you said, because we kind of think alike. I don't know if we do, but you said they can. You said they can read it while they're in the bathroom.
Yep.
Does it help with constipation?
If you want constipation, it does. I think it really tightens people up. So it depends on which way you want to go with it. But I can tell you this. I can tell you this. What it will do is that if you read a chapter every day, because it's like 36 short stories, you've got 3/4 of the year that you're going to get laughter. Like for $20, where are you going to find a better deal? I don't think you can find one.
Yes, sir. Last but not least, I guess, man, when the comedians all do, I just love it that you guys just say things, and I just vibe with you as well too. So when it comes to orange juice, we do got well, that was our first picture, but we're gonna go over a few pictures with you. Talk about the orange juice. Why do you have orange juice?
The orange juice is for a few reasons. Number one, it's in a glass because I perform in a suit. And one of the reasons why I wanted to perform in a suit with the glass is because it was to pay homage to a generation past. That's where guys like Jack Benny and Bob Newhart and even a guy named Dean Martin, where I was captivated because I would watch these guys back then who would be in suits, drinking out of glasses, down on their knees, doing like sketches for these TV shows, like in suits. And I was like, how is it that these guys are being so classy and yet being so funny? And so when I went full time and I started to wear a suit, I also wanted to stand out. I wanted to come out into a room with other comics and everyone else has got their bottle of water. And there was just something about the orange juice glass that really stood out. It looks great on pictures too. And people now know after 15 years, I've got great stories where I share about people who, when you see an orange juice glass on a stool, and when you walk into a room and there's kind of like, the stage is kind of dimmed a bit and the stool is just there with an orange juice glass, you just know it's a Timmy Boyle show. And it's become just a recognizable branding piece. It sets me out. One of the great things in this industry that I think everybody needs to really kind of put their mind on is because of the subjectiveness of comedy, once again, if people don't find me funny, I want to at least be memorable. When people leave the room, I'm the guy with the orange juice glass. I'm the guy with the wool socks. I'm the guy in the suit. I'm at least memorable, and that's one of the biggest things that you could ask for. That's me in my '80s tribute show. With my roller skates, which I have right here beside me too. Classic '80s rentals.
Let's go. That is classic.
I still use them, and the toe is completely. But I roller skated them on the last tour I was on. I went into a roller rink, snuck them in, and. But yeah, they still function. But yeah, my '80s tribute show is one that I'm really proud of. That's a great show.
That last roller shoe looks happy. It looks like it's smiling all day. I like that. I like that, Timmy. Man, oh man, I got something for you, man. I got something for you because you deserve it. And even if you didn't deserve it, if there was crickets, you still deserve it. I got this for you, my man. This shirt is for
Nice.
you. This is for you, sir. You know, when I give out shirts,
You,
I
you
give
know
them out.
we're
Oh,
you,
go ahead. Go
you know
ahead.
we're on TV here though, right? I can't actually take it. You know that, right?
Correct. That's
Okay.
this FedEx.
So go ahead. Sorry.
Or pigeon. It depends on which one comes first, right? So this shirt here, is a representation of who you are as a good person, as a person that has passion. You are a gem of the world. The reason why I give these shirts out is because when people come on to talk about their journey, such as yourself, you are here to make the world better. You are the real Timmy Boyle to make people feel happy even if they don't want to be happy, right? And I think one of the
Right.
things about you is that you can talk and then you'll crack a joke and still look serious and still crack a joke, and people like us will catch it and you will make us feel like we're a part of you. I think that's what's good about you being a comedian and also being an 80s baby and everything behind you and the AI bed. Those are all of the things that really matters of you being on this show. I just want to tell you, congratulations once again on all of your milestones and welcome to the
Thank you.
team. You're part of us now. Just want to let you know. You're part of
That's
us.
awesome, man. I really appreciated this. I really have. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. And we got to put up your social media. We got to put up your social media. So, of course, everybody, you got a when you talk to him, just talk to him with a mouthful of orange juice so he knows that it's all about him. The real Timmy Boyle, everybody, on Instagram. Make sure you go to Instagram. Let's go. Make sure you follow him. Take a picture. Send a DM. I got orange juice. Right. The next
Hmm.
one is Facebook. Yes, if you got wool socks with colors on them, put them. Hey, put your feet up. Right, all 10 toes. Even if maybe you might got nine, put them up at Real Timmy Boyle Facebook. Make sure you show us some love. And last but not least, this is where you find all this information. Yes, timmyboyle.com. Yes, of course, if you are actually in the U.S., use that .com or wherever you at. If you in, you know, if you're also in Canada, make sure you put the CA at the end instead of the .com. That's Timmy
And
Boyle. Timmy,
can I say this for Rico before we go?
yes, sir.
One of the things that people have really tried to focus on, and I want to thank you so much for having me on here and expanding me to a greater audience here,
Yes,
is
sir.
people often ask questions like, I live too far away, I don't have a big budget, my venue's too small. And all I'm asking is that if you're watching this and you've enjoyed what I do and you go on my website and you see what I am, send me an email. I do this for a living. I will travel to your tiny little rural village in America somewhere. I will go there.
Let's
There's
go.
always a way to make the event work. And so don't ever be going, well, he's in Canada, I'm in the States. Oh, well, I'll just have to see him online. No, no, don't wait for me to come to your community. Bring me to your community. We'll find a
Let's
way to
go.
make it work.
Let's go. Do you eat meat?
Sometimes, usually cooked.
Yeah, for sure. So, yes, yeah, everything's cooked over here. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we make sure that wherever I take you, when you come to Chicago, we got to make sure we take you for some great pizza, some great food in Chicago, because we'll make sure
Nice.
that it's cooked. Well done.
I'm a I'm a
Uh,
I'm a chicken and fish guy. I'm not opposed to
perfect.
a good burger, but
Okay.
a great salmon
Okay.
is,
Okay.
is 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 my thing. So
I
I
can
don't know
get
if
you a
that's a
ground
Chicago thing.
a ground chicken burger. That works. It
Done.
works. Yeah,
All
we
right,
there.
let's make it happen.
My man, the real Timmy Boyle, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I had such a blast with you. Thank you so much for making our night, and everybody in the comments and people that can't be on the comments and just looking at the TV right now and they have a six pack now. We want to thank you because of that, right? You help people exercise and sweat and burn calories while we're talking. So, Timmy Boyle, thank you so much for being on the show, man. I had a pleasure you being here.
Rico, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me, man. You do a great job.
Thank you. Put your hands together, everybody. The real Timmy Boyle. Let's go. I'll see you later, sir. You take care of yourself. Let's go. All right, everybody, we got to get out of here. Your boy Rico No Suave. I hope you got a six pack as much as I have. I'm only on 4, right? So I got to still work out the next day. But hopefully you guys had a great time with my man, the real Timmy Boyle from Canada, eh? So I hope that you guys enjoyed yourself. Hey, we got to show our social media before we get out of here. It is a website, everybody. The website, www.riconosuaveshow.com. Man, you can actually watch everything that we actually have and highlights and also our red carpet stuff that we have going on too. So make sure you guys go ahead and check us out there. Here's the next one. You know, it's Instagram. Boom. Yeah, Instagram, Rico No Suave Show. Please go and check it out, everybody. Make sure you go there and follow us there. Here's the next one. Oh, yeah, it's Facebook. Just like my man got wool socks on. I got some socks on too. You know, Rico No Suave Show. Make sure you go ahead and show some love there. Follow us there. And here's the next one. Yeah, this one, good one. Yeah, subscribe. Subscribe to our channel, Rico No Suave Show. It's YouTube. All right, our next one turns into a podcast, everyone. So if you like the audio piece, go to mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. Make sure you go ahead and check it out. This will be published on when you're ready, right? So you'll be able to see it. You'll be able to hear it and go from there. You can visualize it too. Last but not least, Red Coral Universe. Ooh, wee. Yes, that is our new partner, everybody. Please go to Red Coral Universe. Look up Rico No Suave Show. You'll see our season 1 there. Check out our past interviews as well too. Everybody, we got to get out of here. We hope you guys enjoyed yourself on the Rico No Suave Show. And man, I had a blast with each and every one of you guys. And hopefully you sweat out whatever you ate tonight. Until next time, everybody, we'll see you as we end off the show. Just like